In today's video, we're going to be talking about 20 of the fastest selling items on eBay. And when I say fast selling, what I mean is that these are the types of items when you price them competitively or at fair market value, they tend to sell in less than 1 day. Sometimes even within minutes of you listing them. Now, all of the items on this list are common consumable products that have a high demand because people need these items and they go to eBay to buy them routinely. So they're all great items to sell on eBay if you're in the need of quick cash. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started and jump right in. All right, item number 1 on our list is printer ink and toner. Now, printer ink and toner sells well on eBay because people go to eBay in hopes of finding it a little bit cheaper than they would at, say, a brick and mortar store. And if you've ever bought printer ink or toner before, you know that it can be quite expensive, especially if it is not a generic brand and it is a name brand like this one. Now, whenever I'm out in places where printer toner can be found cheaply, like at thrift stores, estate sales, garage sales, if I can find it cheap enough, I'll always buy it because normally it sells the same day I list it. And sometimes you can find insane deals, like I found this one for $15 and it's selling regularly on eBay for over $200. So never overlook printer ink and toner. Okay, moving on to item number 2 on our list, and that is disposable razors and razor cartridges. Now, obviously these need to be new to sell on eBay. You can't list your old or used razor cartridges. For health reasons, if you try to list anything used on eBay, eBay will automatically remove it. But if it's brand new, sealed in a package, these can sell very quickly and they can sell for good money for the same reasons like printer ink and toner, because they are expensive in retail stores. So people go to eBay to buy them cheaper. Now, another commodity type item that falls in the toiletries category is disposable toothbrush heads. If you list those on eBay in new condition, they also sell very fast. Now, these can be a little bit harder to find in places like thrift stores and garage sales, but if you're a couponer, you can oftentimes find really great coupons on disposable toothbrush heads. And if you coupon and get them real cheap, you can then turn around and flip them for great profit on eBay. So now we've made it to item number 4 on our list of items that sell extremely fast on eBay, and we've arrived at vitamins and supplements. Now, you can sell vitamins and supplements on eBay. A lot of people think that you aren't able to since they are ingestible or people put them in their body. But the thing that you want to make sure that you are following is that they are, 1, sealed product, making sure that they haven't been tampered with or opened. And number 2, that any supplement or any vitamin that you list is in date and not expired. And if you follow those 2 rules, you shouldn't run into any issues with selling vitamins and supplements. I sell them all the time on my eBay account, and one great place to find them is if you have a discount grocery store in a town near you. Oftentimes you can go into places like that and find products like this that are maybe near expiration or overstock, and you can buy them for a few dollars. And for example, like these, I bought for $3 and they are gonna sell on eBay pretty quickly for $25 to $30. And one great thing about buying supplements is normally when you find one, a lot of times you can find multiple quantities. So if you're able to buy a bunch of them, you can make one listing and sell them all day long. All right, moving on to another consumable item that sells very quickly on eBay, and that is baby diapers and baby formula. Now, it's important to know that if you're gonna sell baby formula on eBay, you are allowed to do so only if you are an eBay business owner account type. If you just have an eBay account that's for personal use, you can't sell formula, but you can sell diapers. And if you're a parent that has ever had a child before, you know that diapers and formula can be really expensive and you have to buy them all the time. So people go on eBay looking for a deal, and if you're able to find these things cheap enough, you can put them on eBay and sell them for a profit. Okay, moving on to item number 6 on our list of items that sell really fast on eBay, and that is appliance repair parts. Now, this item I have right here is a burner to an electric stove, but things like this break all the time on people's appliances, and they'll turn to eBay to find these because you can't walk into any store or, a department store like Walmart or Home Depot and find a specialized part that you need to fix your washer, your dryer, your stove, your dishwasher. So people turn to eBay and they buy them immediately immediately. So if you're out at thrift stores and you find brand new appliance parts, or if you have a connection to where you can find these in bulk, even better, because if you list these, they sell really fast. And you don't even have to have them brand new like this one right here. If you find a big appliance, say for example, like a dishwasher, and it is in working condition, you can even take that dishwasher or that appliance, whatever it is, and strip all the parts off of it if you have some mechanical or handyman type knowledge, and you can take those parts and you can sell them in used but working condition on eBay. So if you have access to any type of appliance part, it is a great quick seller on eBay. Okay, the next item on our list that everybody has access to at some time or another is an old or outdated cell phone. For example, this iPhone right here was my wife's phone. She just upgraded to a new one, but her old phone, if I go and put it on eBay, still has a significant value to it. And even if it's not in the greatest condition, for example, if this phone had a cracked screen, that really doesn't matter, because if you go and put it on eBay and accurately describe it, people that are into phone repair or even flipping phones will still go onto eBay and buy them for parts. So before you go and throw your old phone into a junk drawer, remember that it has value. It doesn't have to be an Apple brand product. It can be any type of smartphone, but Apple products sell really well and really fast. Even if it's not a smartphone, it could be an Apple Watch, it could be any other type of Apple product. Really, any tech that you might think is old or outdated, to somebody else, it might be a brand new item to them. So now we're gonna circle back around and talk about another commodity item that falls into the healthcare or cosmetics category, and that is perfume. Ladies or men's perfume sells really well on eBay, and it sells extremely fast. And yes, it can be brand new, but you can also sell used perfume on eBay. But the thing you want to remember if you're selling used perfume that is either half empty or half full is that you list the perfume in the collectibles perfume category on eBay. If you try to list used perfume in the regular perfume category, it will get taken down. But if you list it in the collectibles category, you shouldn't run into any issues. I sell hundreds of used perfumes every year on eBay. I buy large perfume collections and then part them out or lot them out, and I make great money selling them really fast. And if you're looking for a great place to find perfumes to resell, one place I love to look for them at is at estate sales. I always go into the bathroom first and open up the toiletries cabinet, because a lot of people overlook these types of items when they're tucked away or when they're inside of toiletries cabinets. You can normally get them cheap for a couple of dollars, and perfume can be really expensive, especially if it's discontinued. Sometimes discontinued perfume will sell for hundreds of dollars. All right, moving on to the next item on our list of items that sell really fast on eBay, and that is diabetic test strips. Now, I don't actually have one to hold up and show you right now, but I will put an image of one up here on this video so you know what I'm talking about. But these are the things that people with diabetes use to test their blood sugar levels, and they use them every day, and they run out of them all of the time. So whenever they run out, they have to buy more, and they turn to eBay to try to find them at a discount. Now, the big thing to remember here is that you can only sell brand new diabetic test strips on eBay. They have to be in a brand new sealed box, and they also should not be expired. And one other big tip that I will give you is that you want to make sure that whatever diabetic test strips you're selling on eBay do not require a prescription. If it requires a prescription and you try to list it on eBay, eBay will flag that item and they will pull it down, and it could end up affecting your eBay account. So I would just stay away and stay clear of anything that is prescription related, even if it pertains to diabetes. But if it doesn't require a prescription and you can get it over the counter, you're free reign. You can sell it on eBay, and they sell really fast and really quickly. Okay, so now that we've made it about halfway through our list of items of, things that sell quickly on eBay, I'm gonna talk for a minute about an item that I'm sure a lot of you already know about, but it would be crazy of me to leave this item off of our list in case there are people out there that aren't familiar with this item category, and that is video games. Now, video games, of course, are great to sell if you can find them cheap enough. They can be old or vintage video games like this PlayStation game that I have right here, or it can be a brand new title for newer systems that are out on the market today, like Nintendo Switch, PS5, the Xbox games. All of those are great to sell. They don't even have to be games. You can even sell controllers, accessories, even the actual game systems themselves. Now, a couple of key things that you always want to make sure that you do before you list an item on eBay is you want to try to test it to make sure that it works. And if you don't have a way of testing it, you should put that in your description. But one rule of thumb I always like to do is I like to check, especially if it's a disc, to make sure that the disc is in good condition, that it doesn't have a lot of scratches on it. Usually, if it doesn't have a bunch of scratches, it's probably good to go if you don't have a way of testing it. But you always want to kind of include that in your description if you can't actually physically test a hard copy. But you always want to have an eye out for these because they sell very, very fast on eBay. All right, moving on to another category of items that sell really fast on eBay, and that is water filter cartridges. And that can be anything from like the water filter cartridge on your refrigerator. It can even be a water filter cartridge for like a hiking backpack or even camping supplies. And I've even sold, water filter cartridges for whole home water filter systems. And those can sell for a ton of money on eBay. And the big thing that you're looking for is a water filter that is, of course, brand new or in the box. If you have a used water filter, it doesn't have any value and you aren't gonna have any luck selling it on eBay. But I've typically found that water filters that are made by the original equipment manufacturer or that are OEM sell a whole lot better than the aftermarket water filters that you could find on like Amazon or anywhere else. And real quick before we jump on to the next category, I found that water filters for refrigerators can sell anywhere from like the $20 to $40 range. But if you find a specialty filter to like a camping type backpack or a camping filtration system, they can sell for like $50 to $100. But if you find a whole home water filtration device or system, they're normally a lot bigger, they're in bigger boxes, but it is not uncommon for them to sell for $100, $200, $300 or even more. So the big ones you want to look for are the bigger filters. On average, the bigger the water filter, the more expensive it costs. All right, moving on to item number 12 now on our list, and this is probably my favorite item that I love to sell, and I sell these not only every day, but I sell them multiple times throughout the day, and that is motorcycle parts. Now, when it comes to selling motorcycle parts, obviously the big name brands like Harley Davidson sell really well, Indian sells really well, but even sports bikes like Honda and Kawasaki, they sell really fast on eBay too. Now, just like what I was saying with water filters, if you find actual branded parts, they normally sell better than aftermarket parts and they normally sell for more money. But for me, it doesn't matter what the type of part is. I'll even sell used parts if I know it's in good working condition because motorcycle parts fly off of my shelf. And the reason is people depend on motorcycles for two reasons. One, some people ride them as their daily driver and they break down and they've got to repair them all the time. And two, other people do it as a hobby, so they're always looking to upgrade parts, maybe making one part a little bit better than what they had originally on their motorcycle. So they're gonna go for a newer, shinier part to make their bike look a little bit more cool. All right, item number 13 that is a quick selling eBay item, and that is fitness supplements. Things like pre-workout, protein powder, creatine powders, anything that somebody would take if they're getting ready to, work out or if they're into fitness is a great item to sell on eBay. But the big thing you want to remember is just like with vitamins and any other type of supplement, you want to make sure that it is a sealed product and you want to make sure that it is in date because people are, of course, going to be putting this in their bodies. And you don't want to open yourself up to any bit of liability or any issues if somebody were to take something that is expired and they got sick. But once again, I find this stuff all the time at closeout stores and wholesale stores, even discount grocery stores, places like Ollie's, Big Lots. If you're familiar with those types of stores, you can find this stuff normally marked way down, still in date, and you can find it in multiple quantity. So if you can get, a bunch of one product type, it's always a win, and especially if this stuff sells really quickly. Okay, the next item on my list is a little bit different because it's not a commodity type item. It is indeed a collectible, but even though it is a collectible, these sell really, really fast if you price them accurately or at fair market value. And in my opinion, they're a lot of fun to buy and then resell on eBay. And that is comic books. Now, when it comes to comic books, if you're not familiar with them, I'm sure it can be a little bit overwhelming because there are so many different titles and there are so many years that these have been made. I mean, comic books go all the way back to the 1930s, but a couple of tips that I would give to you if you've never bought or sold a comic book before is that generally the older the comic book, the better. If you get into any comic book that was, made or manufactured before like the 1970s, when you get down into the 60s, the 50s, the 40s, if you ever find one in the 30s that's genuine, authentic, and good condition, you could be literally sitting on a gold mine. Now, what you want to look for is you want to look in the top, right or left-hand corner on most comic books. You're going to find the year that that comic book was made. You'll find the month that it was issued. And then a lot of times you can even find the price of what the comic book originally cost. For example, this one was made in 1978. It's a Spider-Man comic that sold for 30 cents when it originally came out. And if you're looking at that box up in the upper corner right there, on average, if you're looking at the price of the comic book, one rule of thumb I follow is normally the lower the price, the older the comic is, and the older it is, the more likely it is, or the more potential it has to sell for a higher value. And of course, if you're unsure about any particular comic, you can always open up the eBay app on your smartphone and do a quick search of active listings for that comic book, or even, look at the solds of what that comic has sold for, and really quickly get an idea of what that comic is valued at. Now, one place that I like to really look for comics to resell is places like at flea markets. Even, antique malls can be really great. A lot of times people that have comics might know what they have, but if you're wanting to get good at selling comics, I would encourage you to, familiarize yourself with particular comic titles, particular comic lines, and it's one of those things where the more knowledgeable you get, the more potential you have to make money with reselling them. Okay, so we're gonna now jump back to another commodity type item for our next item on things that sell quickly on eBay, and that is laundry detergent. Now, laundry detergent is one of those items that everybody uses, or I at least hope everybody that uses, and people need it every day. If you're doing a load of laundry, you're going to eventually run out of detergent, and where are you gonna go to buy your detergent? You might buy it in a retail store, but if you look online, oftentimes people know when they're shopping online, they can find a little bit better of a deal. So savvy customers will turn to eBay and they'll buy it on eBay, so it sells really fast when you put it up on eBay with a competitive price. Now, one great thing about laundry detergent is the companies that make detergent oftentimes will, issue out coupons for really great deals on their products. So if you're a couponer and you know how to stack coupons or do the whole couponing thing, oftentimes you can get laundry detergent really, really cheaply, if not almost free. And if you're getting detergent for little to nothing and you turn around and put it on eBay at retail or close to retail value, you're gonna be able to sell that laundry detergent quickly and you're going to make a good profit. All right, moving on to another item type that isn't really a commodity, but it sells extremely fast on eBay, and that is trading cards. Now, eBay is kind of currently the standard when it comes to selling trading cards, and even people that are into the hobby going onto eBay to buy them. So if you have the right trading cards, you can sell them on eBay either raw, or if you know how to get products graded or even find them graded to resell, they can bring a lot of money on eBay. And of course, when it comes to trading cards, any type of sport is always great to look for. But right now, one thing that is really popular and really hot on eBay is Pokemon. So if you're a person that has a bunch of Pokemon cards in your closet or in your attic from when you were a little kid, you could have something that is worth a lot of money that could sell extremely fast if you're willing to take the time to put it for sale on eBay. All right, moving on to our next category, item number 17 on our list of things that sell really quickly on eBay, and that is pet supplies and pet food. Now, when it comes to people's pets, a lot of people are crazy about their furry best friend. Some people even love their pets more than they love their children, and it is no surprise that last year in America, people spent over $150 billion on their pets here as a country. So when it comes to selling pet supplies on eBay, there is a ton of potential for money to be made, and I found that when I buy stuff that is pet related, it sells extremely fast. For example, a little over a month ago, I bought 30 of these reptile aluminum dome lamps. I found them at a discount. They were being marked down at $9 a unit. I bought about 30 of them, and they're selling about every day for $40 a piece. So when it comes to stuff like this, people are willing to spend money, especially if they're wanting to do something like that, make their pet area look really nice, or if they're wanting something that, is going to improve the overall happiness or pleasure that their pet is going to have in life, or that their pet brings them, they're going to go to eBay to buy those products, and they sell quickly when they do. Another common commodity that pertains to home life that sells well on eBay is vacuum cleaner parts and accessories. Specifically, I found vacuum cleaner filters sell really well because it's a part on the vacuum cleaner that people have to replace regularly, and normally they're disposable, so when people throw them out, they're going to turn to eBay to buy replacements. Now, I found that higher end name brands like Dyson, or even robotic vacuum cleaners like iRobot, those parts and filters sell really well. They sell for good money. But even, a little bit more obscure or off-brand vacuum cleaner parts sell really well, especially if it's an older vacuum cleaner that is no longer made or manufactured, that, somebody really loves still to use, but they don't have access to those parts. If they were to go to Amazon or any other online retailer, they can only find those parts on eBay, and if you've got those parts, they're gonna buy them from you. For example, I was recently at a thrift store and I found this Intervac brand of vacuum cleaner. It's a bag full of all different hoses and attachments for that model of vacuum cleaner. And if I were to list these out and part it out one by one on eBay, this $5 investment is going to return to me a few $100s after they all sell. So always keep an eye out for vacuum cleaner parts. They sell fast, people need them, and they're gonna go to eBay to buy them. Okay, so moving on to our next category, we have a category that is another part-related category, but this one pertains to automotive parts. Now, automotive parts are great to sell on eBay because whenever something breaks on a person's car or vehicle, they've got to get it fixed to keep them running. So they turn to eBay Motors to buy that part for their car or for their truck. And if you've ever had a car break down before, or have ever had to fix something on your car, you know that it can be really expensive, especially if you were to take your car to a dealership or to try to find a part that you're maybe buying from an auto parts store like AutoZone or Discount Auto. Those places mark their car parts up a lot, and they're a lot more expensive on there versus if they were to go to eBay to buy their part from you. Now, of course, when it comes to car parts, the name brand car parts sell the best. Brands like Mopar, Ford Motor Company, any of the actual name brands of the cars, if you can find those parts, they're gonna sell faster and they're gonna sell more for more money. But if you find aftermarket parts, they can still sell well too. Now, the big thing you want to remember with car parts is almost every car part normally has a part number on it. So if you open up your phone and either type in that part number, or even if there is a barcode, you can use eBay's barcode scanner to find out really quickly what that part is and what that part is worth. So when you have those two things figured out, you can really quickly make an easy eBay listing, and you can be well on your way to selling your part quickly for some extra cash. Okay, so we've reached the final item on our countdown of things that sell quickly on eBay for a lot of money. And this last category is one of my favorites. It's a really fun one, and that is Lego. Now, if you have a Lego set, the one thing you want to do is you want to take the Lego set number and put it into your phone to search and find out what that set is worth or what it's valued at. But if you don't have that, set number, you can also take out your phone and do a quick eBay image search or Google search, and that should also give you all of the information in regards to which Lego you have in your hands. And that's also a good thing to do if you have a Lego that you're not familiar with and you can't identify, because believe it or not, sometimes even these little minifigures right here are faked. Sometimes counterfeiters will make fake ones that look a lot like the original, so it's important to do an image search to make sure that what you have is actually authentic, because these little pieces of plastic hold a lot of value. And of course, they sell quickly and they sell really well on eBay, which is why they made it on this list, and they are the final item in our countdown. Now, before I close out this video, I want to say thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something new. If you have anything that you want to share about the video or any questions, feel free to drop a comment down in the comment section, and I promise I'll try to do my best to get back to you. And if you're not already a subscriber to my channel, now's a good time for me to remind you to subscribe to this channel if you would like more eBay reselling tips and tricks. I publish new videos here on my channel every single week, so there's always something new for you to come and check out and something new for you to learn. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I can't wait to catch you on the next video. Bye, guys.